Fox News. J.D. Vance and Tim Walz were mostly civil to each other in the CBS News vice presidential debate, taking aim at the top of the ticket with Vice President Harris's running mate calling the former president a threat to democracy.
And it manifested itself because of Donald Trump's inability to say. He is still saying he didn't lose the election.
Vance fired back.
Kamala Harris wants to use the power of government and big tech to silence people from speaking their minds. That is a threat to democracy that will long outlive this present political moment.
And Vance said the vice president is to blame for inflation and record illegal immigration.
Drive the cost of food higher by 25%. Drive the cost of housing higher by about 60%. Open the American southern border and make middle-class life unaffordable.
But Walz says when it comes to national security,
it's those that were closest to Donald Trump that understand how dangerous he is when the world is this dangerous.
Israel and Hezbollah keep battling. More bombings and rocket attacks in and out of Lebanon today, where one Israeli soldier has been killed, as Israel also plans a response to Iran's missile barrage.
We do know that Israel's advanced missile defense system, the Arrow 3, engaged some of the targets working to take down the fire, but video circulating online shows significant impacts and craters caused by the missiles. One Palestinian man was killed in the West Bank and two Israelis were injured. The Iranians say they used new Fatah hypersonic missiles and were responding to the killing of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah and Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh.
Fox's Trey Hinks in Haifa, Israel, where there was also a terror attack, killing 7 people in Tel Aviv. Hurricane Helene now blamed for at least 161 deaths in 6 states as crews keep searching for more victims. President Biden will get an aerial tour of some of the devastation in North Carolina today. Vice President Harris will assess damage in Georgia days after former President Trump went there to meet victims. America's listening to Fox News.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
You okay?
Sorry, I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
It is day 2 of a strike at ports from Maine to Texas, leaving ships idle and big containers unopened.
The ILA says that the Maritime Alliance, that is the shippers and the port companies, they say that their latest deal has fallen way short of their demands. The alliance offering dock workers a 50% wage increase, boosting the top earners from $39 per hour to about $58 per hour. The dock workers union says no, it wants a 77% wage increase.
Fox's Brian Yennis near picketing workers in Brooklyn, New York, and those workers also are demanding no automation. An actor is being mourned.
John Amos, who starred as the patriarchal figure James Evans Sr. in the series Good Times and the cultural sensation Roots, died August 21st in Los Angeles. He was 84 years old. His son, Kelly Christopher Amos, released a statement which read in part, "He was a man with the kindest heart and a heart of gold, and he was loved the world over. His legacy will live on in his outstanding works in television and film as an actor." Amos played an adult Kunta Kinte in the ABC historical miniseries Roots. He also had roles on The Mary Tyler Moore Show and All in the Family, and in the Eddie Murphy film Coming to America and its 2021 sequel. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
On Wall Street, falling futures suggest that stocks could drop, adding to yesterday's losses, knocking the Dow and the S&P 500 off record highs. In the baseball playoffs,
Vientos slices one the other way.
The New York Mets had a 5-run 6th inning, and they went on to beat the Milwaukee Brewers 8-4 in the National League playoffs in their series opener. San Diego shut out Atlanta in the other NL series. In the American League, Kansas City shut out Baltimore. Detroit topped Houston. They'll all play again today, and if the winners win again, they'll advance to the next round. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. Food and building service workers at the University of Illinois have reached a tentative deal with the university on a new contract. Robin Kaler, Associate Chancellor for Strategic Communications, says the university and SEIU Local 73 reached that deal late on Monday. A motorcycle driver from Teotopolis dead. It follows a crash in Effingham on Monday at Keller Drive and Midtown Boulevard. Police say a car failed to yield to the motorcycle driver in two cars that collided in the intersection. The motorcycle driver identified as 27-year-old Dale Davis. He was pronounced dead later at a hospital. The Hoopeston Area Rescue Team beginning a program that they hope will help more animals at their shelter find a forever home. Through the Legacy Foster Program, HEART will make it completely free for owners to adopt certain dogs at the shelter. 17 are eligible, and the shelter will waive adoption fees. Then they'll pay the animals' medical bills their entire life. You're locally up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Well, good morning. It is October 2. I am Stevie Jay. That is Diane Ducey.
Good morning.
It's a nice fall-like morning.
Yeah.
I got 44 on the car thermometer, Mr. Greg.
When you were coming in?
Woo,
nice.
Yeah. I tell you what, I mean, I do enjoy the change of seasons. I mean, I could probably get used to 80 every day, but it's kind of cool, too.
I know.
Kind of nice.
Yeah, but shorter spells of, the W word. I do like the change of seasons, but, not into April and March.
Yeah, right.
February.
It's our weatherman. It's our meteorologist, Greg Solier, brought to you this morning by Carl.
And they remind you they have a Camp Healing Heart that's coming up in Monticello this weekend. If you're interested in more details, visit carl.org.
All right, Mr. Greg, what do you see for the next few days, sir?
Well, yeah, we were down to 42 last hour, and when we opened up the weather factory here a few hours ago, we're at Willard and Savoy. They're at 44 now, 42 at Rantoul. Same at Danville, 46 Bloomington Normal to 42 up at the Kankakee, 50 downtown under the Arch in St. Louis. You get out over the western end of the state, out towards Galesburg. They were down to 38 earlier on this morning, and some upper 30s into parts of eastern Iowa as well. Quiet, uneventful, rain-free, some ups and downs on temperature, but nothing too dramatic and off the seasonal norms around here. A little bit of a warm-up as the week wears on. Nice warm-up for the weekend. It'll cool down early next week, and we'll go right back in the other direction around here. And really nothing on the maps and charts of significance till sometime in the third, maybe even the fourth week here in this new month of October. So all ahead out there. Safety first, though, with the early harvest operations in mind. 71, the forecast high for the day today. Nice to have these dry air masses. Yeah, cool nights, but they recover nicely this time of the year in the afternoon. Sunshine, just the slightest of a northeast wind shifting around west and southwest. We'll bottom out again in the 40s for tonight. Tomorrow, sunshine, south breeze. It'll be light with a high at 77, 78, a partly cloudy Friday. Here comes the weekend. Here comes the sunny to partly cloudy, rain-free environs at 82 on Saturday, 79 on Sunday. We will cool a bit into early next week with readings, again, more seasonal in the upper 60s Monday and Tuesday, and climbing right back through the 70s and still rain-free the second half of next week as well. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Soul.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, the vice presidential debate. We'll talk a lot about that at the bottom of the hour with Ed Martin, Brother Johnny coming up. But we'll also talk about it now with John Schweppe, Director of Policy and Government Affairs for American Principles Project and GOP strategist. John Schweppe, who's about to have his fifth child in competition with Terry Schilling, who has 7. How are you there, John Schweppe? How was? Were you at the debate? Just watching the debate?
I was watching from home last night, and man, it was a whooping.
Well, I tell you what, J.D. Vance is very comfortable. And talk about body language. I'm sure there's body language people eating that one up. Just the expressions. I thought Tim Walz got better later, but yeah, it was one you're comfortable with, the other you're just not as comfortable with. There's no doubt.
Yeah, no, I agree with you too about the second half of the debate. Walz started to come on, but I think it was a little too late. The impressions were made, and JD came across as not just confident, but incredibly insightful, smart, and likable. And I thought that was a really important part of this too for him. A lot of folks don't really know him yet. They're still trying to form their opinions. And, he came across as agreeable, somebody who could assert that something was wrong. I'm thinking about that exchange with the two moderators where they tried to fact check him. He never came across as hot-headed or angry.
No, not at all.
Just very confident and correct. And it was very presidential.
I woke up this morning thinking the age of the debate is over until you can figure out the moderators. Why are they so bad?
I think it's the sheer hubris of modern journalism. They're just, I don't know, man. It's getting so ridiculous. But they do feel like they are part of this. And, even in that mic muting spot, they muted Tim Walz too. So it wasn't even necessarily an unfair thing as much as it was an absurd thing.
Margaret Brennan was in charge. You could see that the way her, saying, go next. It's time. We got a lot to get to. Stop saying we got a lot to get to. First of all, this is a debate. It's not about you. Maybe we go off page a little bit. Let them talk.
Yeah, but they say they had a lot to get to. And we didn't get into a substantive issue people care about, housing, for like an hour. We had to talk about climate change. We had to talk about January 6th.
Oh, my God.
Climate, by the way, I just want to point out, J.D. Vance probably had the best Republican answer on climate ever in any debate, where a Republican came away winning the climate change answer. When was the last time that happened? But, this is just who the media is at this point. And frankly, I think the American people are getting numb to it. They just kind of expect this absurdity from them, and it's part of the show.
They say these don't matter, the vice presidential debate. I'm sure they don't, but I think people had this impression of J.D. Vance as a horrible guy. They have to beat this guy up because his background is stunning, where he came from and where he is today. Very likable, very amiable, very, very distinguished. I mean, dare I say, in this day and age. I don't know. I think his career might have changed. I think he'll be the front runner next time.
Yeah, I agree. I think, going into this, obviously he would have been in the mix for 2028, but I don't think anyone would say he's, earned it to the point of like, oh yeah, he's going to be the guy. If we continue to see, and I think he's going to get better. Remember, he's a young guy, right? He's going to get better and better. It's kind of like seeing like a 22-something on your favorite basketball team, like they're starting to flash, right? And that's what we saw last night. And so, no, with him, I think very, very highly. I think, if we win this thing, he's going to be the front runner, and he's going to really excite people.
Was he 40? I mean, he's barely 40 if he's 40, right?
He's either 39 or 40.
Man.
He's like right there.
You know who might have been cringing a little last night? Vivek Ramaswamy going, dang it. Because, I think
this was my bit.
This is my thing. I could have done that. Anyway, 40. He's 40. Okay, that is obviously nobody's ever been president when they're 40. John Kennedy, Teddy Roosevelt, pretty close, 42, 43. But anyway, I don't know. Again, we did it. It's done. I'm kind of over the moderators, so it's done for the year. I mean, I was very comfortable going in because I think J.D. Vance is extremely intelligent, but his demeanor was outstanding. I'd give him a 10.
Yeah, no, we really like J.D. Vance at American Principles Project. We had a huge bias, but we expected Walz to be much better than he was, and I think when you compare them, it was truly an A+. I actually do think this is going to move numbers, not a huge amount, but I do think it's going to be something that gives a lot of undecided voters confidence.
Well, here's a prediction. I would probably put money on this being on Saturday Night Live with his eyes wide open. Somebody's going to do that on Saturday Night Live. J.D. Vance's eyes wide open.
Okay.
It's like going, oh, criminy. He's not going to be in the situation.
J.D. Vance was like
I'm sorry. Tim Walz, big old bulging eyes. And it was like, please don't be in a situation room when don't look like that. You don't give me confidence.
Well, there's already a meme on the internet showing Walz doing that, but then JD's literally breaking the fourth wall, looking at the camera, doing the Jim Halpert from The Office.
Yeah,
and
look at the camera.
Incredible.
Yeah, you're right. I did see that. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. 714, how can people find you, John?
AmericanPrinciplesProject.org. We are on Twitter at AP Project, and we have a few takes up there about the debate last night. You guys can check it out.
You're kind of the NRA for families, I think is.
That's right. We're $18 million this election cycle in some of the swing states, trying to do our best to make sure we defeat anti-family Kamala.
Okay. Thank you, John Schweppe. Appreciate it very much from Arlington, Virginia on the Tapman's Towing phone line. It is 7:15 on this October 2nd. Diane has sports headlines.
Kind of a weird week with us not having Cubs or Cards to talk about anymore. And the Illini have a bye weekend.
I'm in a dilemma on the baseball playoffs because I don't want Houston because they banged on the garbage
Well, at
can.
least Detroit beat them
but
3-1 yesterday.
Detroit has the manager from Houston.
I see.
He knew what was happening, and he's still managing.
Okay, good insight.
So I don't know what to do with that series, except I hope you both lose. So,
well, 1:30 today. We'll see what happens. Right now, the Tigers are on top in the American League wild card, best of 3.
Best of 3, but all the games are at the home field of the higher seed, so they don't switch fields. So if you had home field, like Milwaukee lost to the Mets, and now they've got to win 2 straight to go on, otherwise they're done. So the Mets, playing pretty hot baseball. They got 5 in the 5th on the Milwaukee Brewers. And then after all of that season and 93 wins, the Brewers could be done today. Wow. That's no fun.
Okay. Kansas City over Baltimore 1-0. They're playing at 3:30 today. New York Mets over the Milwaukee Brewers 8-4, 6:30 for that National League Wild Card Series to continue. And San Diego blanked the Atlanta Braves 4-0, 7:30 tonight to watch that game. Thursday night football will be Tampa Bay at Atlanta. Sunday at noon, a reminder, over on Q96, we've got Carolina in Soldier Field to face the Bears. Colts are in Jacksonville. We'll have Green Bay and the LA Rams at 3:25 on Sunday, and Monday Night Football will be your Saints in Kansas City. 8 returnees as Illinois women's basketball is showcased at Rosemont Horizon for Big Ten Media Days.
Yeah.
So Makaira Cook and Adalia McKenzie coming with Coach Shauna Green. And a congratulations to some of our Cobra athletes. Brandon Sigarini is a golfer, which the golfers won the NJCAA National Championship Fall Preview by 4 strokes this week. So congratulations to Brando. And Libby Bodine as the September Parkland College Athlete of the Week. The volleyball team is at a 17-2 record. So go Cobras. Tomorrow, it's Stuff Huff against number 2 Nebraska.
Oh, boy.
As our Illini are in action, I believe, tomorrow at 6.
Come on, Chris Thomas.
Yes.
He's always coaching against his mentor at Nebraska.
That's right.
And this is what, the national championship team or something?
Right. They're number 2.
I think, did they win the national championship last year?
Maybe.
Anyway, they're really... Yeah, they are women. They're really...
Hear me roar.
They're very good.
Exactly.
So if we can really stuff Huff, it will help. So I encourage everyone to go to the volleyball game, the match tomorrow night, and upset because Nebraska is Nebraska. And Chris came from there. He was assistant coach there. So
that's right. Good remembering, Stevie.
No,
sometimes you can pull it out.
Sometimes I know the day of the week. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It is Wednesday, by the way.
Yeah, I knew that the whole morning.
October 2nd.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, of course, we're looking at the Illini-Purdue game, and that's a 2:30 start on October 12th.
A week from Saturday. We'll have tickets to give away as well.
Wow, it looks like this Stuff Huff game tomorrow is sold out.
Yay.
Yeah.
We got weather brought to you by the Urbana Park District.
And they remind you, Active Aging Week has so many great options for those 50 and up. It's really cool. UrbanaParks.org.
Markets might go down. We'll check the latest from Fox Business in a minute. 7:19.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign-Urbana, and Vicinity. A little hint of early autumn in the air this morning across the area. Temperatures ranging through the 40s. But with these dry Canadian air masses and abundance of sunshine, temperatures will respond nicely this afternoon. Another warm-up in sight here over the second half of the week and into the weekend. Slight cooling early to mid next week. Still warmer to milder and drier days ahead as we head through at least the first half of this new month of October. Up to 71 for the day today. Mostly sunny skies. Winds will shift around light west-southwest for the afternoon. Mostly clear tonight down to 46. Tomorrow mostly sunny and 77. Light south-southwesterly wind. Fair tomorrow night. Lows down to 48. Partly cloudy for the day on Friday with a high around 78. Winds will shift back to the northeast in the afternoon. Sunshine and warm for the weekend at 82 on Saturday. 79 on Sunday. Will cool to the upper 60s Monday and Tuesday. Climbing back into the 70s the second half of next week. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm Meteorologist Greg Solgay.
You've set your financial goals. One kid plans to go Big Ten, the other Ivy. Your bucket list includes seaside sunrises and sunsets on the slopes, or perhaps a second home away from it all. Busey Bank can help develop the right investment strategy to take charge of the years ahead. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini. Member FDIC.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stock futures are losing ground as investors gauge the impact of tensions in the Middle East. The CBOE Volatility Index, the VIX, the market's fear gauge, has risen sharply. Changes are coming at Signet Jewelers, the parent company of Zales, Jarrett & Kay. Its CEO, Virginia Drosos, is retiring in November. She'll be succeeded by J.K. Szymanczyk, who previously was CEO of PetSmart, though she will continue to serve as an advisor. British-based JD Sports Fashion is reporting an upbeat quarter. It's been expanding in the U.S. and recently completed its purchase of Hibbett. JD Sports says it doesn't expect any significant impact from U.S. port strikes because most of its products come in from the western part of the U.S. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola. Invested in you.
Stay on top of the latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hands.
Here's the latest from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
That heat's going to be out there for one more day.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com.
In 1925, Bud and B. Reichert founded a small plumbing business in Urbana. Today, nearly 100 years later, A&R Mechanical is still thriving. A&R Mechanical believes in designing, building, and maintaining with plumbing, piping, ventilation, and HVAC service. As one of the largest and most innovative contractors in the Midwest, their team creates and sustains essential facility systems for iconic structures like the Siebel Center, the Campus Instructional Facility, Carl at the Fields, Chemical and Life Science Lab, the Carl Heart and Vascular Service, and literally dozens more. Their impact on Champaign-Urbana is legendary. For nearly a century, A&R Mechanical has been a cornerstone of our community. Congratulations, A&R Mechanical, on nearly 100 years of dedication, innovation, and community spirit. Design, build, maintain. It's what they've done for nearly 100 years and what they'll continue to do for the next 100 years. Visit ar-mech.com for more details.
As Tapman's Towing celebrates 50 years of serving Central Illinois, we're always seeking good people to serve our great customers. Our team of expert tow professionals would like to interview others with CDLs, previous tow experience, or a strong interest in serving others. If you enjoy serving people, love working in the outdoors, and looking for a career, not just a job, we should talk soon. Do you have a strong desire but lack the experience? We should still talk. Visit our career page at tapmanstowing.com.
Hi, Ellen Hook here, owner of your local Ashley. I have a big announcement. The Champaign Ashley store is getting a fresh new look, and you're invited to the remodel sale. Right now, save up to 65% off furniture and accessories throughout the store, with hundreds of items in stock and ready to take home today. But that's not all. Join us outside under the carport every weekend in September and October for extra savings on select furniture. It's all happening at your local Ashley in Champaign at 602 West Anthony Drive. Hurry into Ashley because these deals won't last long.
In an ever-changing real estate market, it is so important to work with experienced agents like Russ and Nick Taylor with the Taylor teams at Taylor Realty Associates. They have the knowledge and expertise to get your home sold for the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. Trust the experience and success of Russ and Nick Taylor with the Taylor team at Taylor Realty Associates. Give them a call today at 217-355-0700 or visit them online at taylorboys.com. That's taylorboys.com.
Escape to the country this summer at Curtis Orchard. The historic family-run farm in Southwest Champaign features apples, outdoor activities, a large country store, and pumpkins in the fall. Shop for specialty food items like their fresh apple cider slushies, and their famous donuts and pies. Enjoy the countryside at Curtis Orchard every Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sundays, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more information and upcoming events, visit curtisorchard.com.
What is most important in your life?
This is Rob Meyer with Provident Financial Group. Whether you're launching a career, raising a family, planning for retirement, or creating a legacy, we can help. At Provident, we provide strategic thinking and perspective that can help clients like you realize your goals. Contact us today at 217-366-3456 or find us online at providentfinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
All right, it is, Wednesday. Wednesday, we're going to do a doggy bag here this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've never heard of the doggy bag, it's from Bulldog Disposal in Muhammad. Isn't Muhammad, exploding?
Oh, my goodness. Muhammad's moving and shaking.
Phil's going to need more dumpsters. Got a lot of doggy bags out there. You can actually buy a doggy bag on your own at Do It Best Hardware for like $40. So here's what you do. This is a 6 cubic yards. I wish there was a better description because nobody knows how much that is. It's enough to put a ton in the bag, like 2,000 pounds. If you're doing tile, you can put a lot of tile in a doggy bag. I put a whole Gorilla basketball hoop that was rusted out and all that stuff. And I got that in a doggy bag, in the pole and everything. I mean, it's big. So I'm giving out this $210 prize to one person. I'll pay the whole thing. And so this doggy bag is canvas. And at Criminy, it's entertaining when he picks it up because he brings a big truck with a crane. We've done like 6 of these bags. And if you can't donate it and you got to get rid of it, this is what you do. So you get the doggy bag and I'll have it delivered to your home. And boom, you fill it up when you're ready. You call Bulldog Disposal. They'll pick it up for free. I mean, people, I can lead you to the water. I cannot make you lap up the water. I'm helping you
Clutter.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So all you've got to do is text in doggy bag to 217-359-2255. That would be on the Fisher National Bank text line. And boom, you've got your tool to put a whole bunch of stuff you don't want in there. Obviously, if you're doing like a piece of furniture or something that's too raggy-taggy and stinks and nobody wants it, it'll take most of the bag. But if you're doing tile or something smaller, it'll do it.
I see it for a roofing project down the street in Tolono in my house.
Well, they'll hold a lot of shingles. Mm-hmm. I don't know how big the house is, but it might hold the whole thing.
Right.
Depends on if you're doing a garage or smaller house. Yes, totally.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you come and watch to see, oh boy, this will be fun. Let's take video in case it breaks. He's never had one that break.
Yeah, what is the material
it's
that's
just
made
a thick
of?
canvas.
We want to know.
It's big old thick canvas. And then you got the straps and everything else, and then doesn't have to go very far before we can get it in his thing, so the truck.
And you can pick these up at the hardware store in Champaign, but we're taking care of that.
Just do it best. We're having it delivered. Okay, so there you go. It's called Stever, the program where I give you stuff and you use it, but then after you're done, you take a survey on how everything goes. So we get a little input from you, way better than Google reviews because it can be actually
your competitor that might fill that out, and then all of a sudden it's sitting there at the top, and you're frustrated.
You can be Sally 28, and nobody knows who you are.
That's right.
This is actually we know that this is a real customer. Everything else, and so I'm happy to help you. Please accept my help. You need to do that thing that you've been putting off. So 217-359-2255. Text in doggy bag, and you'll have a chance at a $210 prize for free from me.
Sounds good.
The debate last night, Tim Walz, J.D. Vance. Text in if you have any thoughts as to what you saw. 217-359-2255. And we'll get to some of those texts as we go. We're going to call Brother Johnny. He's down in Bible study, where we all should be actually 24/7. And then Ed Martin, who's president of Eagle Forum Legal Defense Fund, Phyllis Schlafly, the great Phyllis Schlafly from Southern Illinois, conservative.
We did have a topic of who won the volleyball national championship, and it was Texas beat Nebraska.
Oh, they did lose.
But it is Stuff Huff tomorrow, and Nebraska comes to town with their 12-1 record. We're 8-4.
But at this
go
point,
Illini.
it's FYI. I can't go.
Right.
It's sold out.
It's sold out.
That's great. That's perfect.
But for the student tickets, they're first come, first serve, and all that.
So if you
bring your iCard,
you go early. But when the question is, when would you have to go?
I know, probably like 2 to get in line for the 6:00 game.
I don't know.
And it'll be wrapped around Huff, probably on that line.
No idea.
I mean, this is exciting.
It is. So beat Nebraska. It's going to be hard, but if we do that, that'd be a huge lift for the ball club.
It's on FS1 if you want to watch it.
All right, 7:30, Brother Johnny. Ed Martin next, ESPN 93.5. We'll be right back.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Attention drivers. When it comes to your car, trust matters. That's why savvy drivers choose PDR Automotive for top-notch service and unbeatable quality. From routine maintenance to complex repairs, their team of expert technicians has the skill and experience to keep your vehicle running smoothly. At PDR Automotive, customer satisfaction is their priority, and they won't rest until your car is back on the road performing at its best. Visit PDR Automotive in Urbana today, family-owned and operated for more than 50 years. They're what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. Trump running mate J.D. Vance campaigns in Michigan today. Harris running mate Tim Walz in Pennsylvania after last night's vice presidential debate hosted by CBS News. They talked about foreign policy, the economy, and abortion. Senator Vance there agrees with letting state law decide.
We have a big country, and it's diverse.
Governor Walz says it's basic human rights.
These are women's decisions to make about their health care decisions, and the physicians who know best when they need to do this.
Vance blames Harris for increased illegal immigration.
Kamala Harris started and said that she wanted to undo all of Donald Trump's border policies.
Walz says a bipartisan bill opposed by former President Trump would have helped.
1,500 new border agents, detection for drugs, DOJ money to speed up these the adjudications on this, just what America wants.
Instant CBS and CNN polls say Vance was the winner barely. America's listening to Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. It's been a month since a Champaign teen hurt in a shooting. Now Crime Stoppers are getting involved in the hopes of finding info that leads to an arrest. Shooting happened the morning of August 24 in the area of Market Street and Bradley Avenue. There they found a 17-year-old at the scene with life-threatening injuries. From Maine to Texas, dock workers at 36 ports across the eastern U.S. now on strike for the first time in decades. And the work stoppage could snarl supply chains, leading to shortages and higher prices if it stretches on for more than a few weeks. Workers began walking picket lines early yesterday in a strike over wages and the port's use of automation. A popular babysitting skills program for participants ages 11 to 15 returning to Jacksonville Memorial Hospital. A Safe Sitter course is offered on Tuesday, November 5th from 9 a.m. to 2:30, with the registration open at 8:30 a.m. The class aimed at giving preteens and teens the confidence to be safe babysitters. You're locally up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Thank you, Jim. Our weather this morning brought to you by Watts Copy Systems. If you need kind of an evaluation for your office, could save you some money. Call Watts at 217-352-0428.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign, Urbana vicinity. Yeah, feel of early autumn in the air across the area this morning, but temperatures really none too far off seasonal norms, a bit on the cooler side, but anything but that going forward here through the rest of the week with another mini warm-up in sight, pushing towards and past that 80-degree mark at some point over the course of the weekend. Another cold front, moisture-free early next week, and then another recovery. Still looks to be the good part of the month of October, milder to warmer and drier here across the area, with early harvest in mind. Sunshine and 71 for the day today, a soft west-southwesterly wind for the afternoon, 46 on the low for tonight, mostly sunny, 77 tomorrow, partly cloudy and 78 for the day on Friday as wind shift around light northeast. For the weekend, up to 82 on Saturday, near 80 on Sunday. Cold front will come through Sunday night, no rain. We'll cool off to the upper 60s Monday and Tuesday, climb back through the 70s next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of late next week. For CVJ Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
Well, we're very happy to live in a free country. We're very happy to be in radio-free Philo, Illinois, where we can speak our mind and enjoy the First Amendment as it should be enjoyed.
So far.
So far.
And, of course, social media or our website, steviejay.com. There's a podcast feature also that you can tap into. Good stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brother Johnny is down in New Orleans Bible study where we should all be 24/7. Johnny!
Hey, good morning, Stevie Jay.
And it's Ed Martin, the great Phyllis Schlafly, the great conservative, hired Ed, final hire before she passed on to heaven. But Ed Martin, president of Eagle Forum Legal Defense Fund, best-selling author, attorney at law, and on the inside, he's not of the swamp, but he is in the swamp. How are you, Ed? How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. Good to be with you. It's less than 40 days, biblical 40 days there, Johnny. So less than 40 days till the election. So God help us, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's exactly where we are.
Okay.
I think he will.
Let's hear some clips on the debate last night in case you missed it.
I think there was a clear lack of preparation and execution here on Walz's part.
I think actually it's the opposite. I think he had too much preparation.
Maybe, yeah.
He had so many lines that he was clearly trying to say that he didn't listen and said when J.D. Vance said one of the many things he really hit Kamala Harris on, not Tim Walz, but Kamala Harris, he didn't respond because he clearly had things in his mind. I think the lack of interviews that he has done with national media, with local media, it showed.
That's Dana Bash, and this is also CNN from the debate last night. CNN now.
It's pretty clear Vance outclassed Walz tonight. I mean, I was watching this, and all I could think of was, man, Walz is so in over his head. I mean, can you imagine this guy sitting in the White House Situation Room with that facial expression that's like 50% sheer terror and 50% extreme bafflement? I mean, it was amazing, the split-screen difference between a competent Vance and a totally in-over-his-head Walz. The answer on why he lied about his trips to China and the Tiananmen Square thing was probably the worst VP debate meltdown since Stockdale in '92. You know, who am I and why am I here? It was 2.5 minutes of absolute terrible. For Vance, night of redemption. All the political media has told us that Vance was a terrible pick and Walz was going to bring in all these voters. That charade is now over. Walz does not belong at this level of American politics. Vance does. Final verdict, Tim Walz wandered into the wrong bar tonight.
Tim Walz wandered into the wrong bar. Ed, what did you see last night?
Well, I think that's all. I think that is all correct. I mean, I think, I knew J.D. Vance. I had seen him in action and, seen the depth of his character. As my wife said to one of my kids who looked at the TV and said, man, that guy is good. And my wife said, they don't let you into Yale Law School just because you're a nice guy, right? I mean, this guy has gone at the highest. He's played at the highest level. I keep doing it to us, but he's a big league ball player and he's an all-star and he's a phenom. And so, everybody knows that. You saw it last night. And Walz, the only thing I didn't like is I don't think J.D. Vance, he laid off. I mean, he didn't say, why'd you let Minneapolis burn? Don't lecture us about 4 hours on January 6th where Nancy Pelosi refused the military that Donald Trump offered. And now we know in a written document that Donald Trump said, please take the military to secure the Capitol. It's hard to call a man an insurrectionist if he offered to defend the Capitol, which is supposed to be what he's taken over. So I wish that we'd seen a little bit more of that, and he laid off of that. He didn't say, you said you were in communist China 30 times. No one I know has been to one country 30 times, and especially communist China, without having a really close relationship with the communists. What's the deal? He didn't do any of that. So, but look, it was a grand slam for J.D. Vance, but I don't know if it matters. I really don't. I don't think people vote on that. I think what's going on is when you're in a campaign that's winning, everything starts to feel like winning, and that's what's happening to Trump. Everything is going his way, including the polls, and so I think even CNN is saying, let's get on the right side of this. Let's be honest about it, so I think that's where we're headed, hopefully.
Well, I think Vance did exactly what he needed. Actually, I think that's why it did make a difference, because when you have Donald Trump, you don't have to jump on the other guy for anything. He's going to take care of that. But he didn't bristle, and he was very likable, which I actually thought Walz was likable. I thought the optics went for Vance big, but I think Walz survived it. But I thought that Vance was great. But I will say this, Eddie, it's very frustrating to me. We have AI, we've somehow determined there's 200 billion galaxies, but there's no way to get a neutral court for a debate. Can't do it.
Yep.
Can't get a neutral court.
I said that this morning. I said I'm done with the debates until you can figure out the moderators. They were so bad. They were like angry or mad or something. It was just.
Well, one of the women, she says, overwhelming consensus of scientists say that we have man-made climate crisis. That's not true. Overwhelmingly, it's not a man-made. We're learning that no, we're not having that big an impact. And the 10 years, we're on like year 23 of the 10 years we have left with no end in sight. And the weather, as bad as we've had some storms lately, over the last 150 years, there's been no increase in more severe weather events, period. A warming period has been going on for 300 years. So that got me, Steve. That pushed a button of mine. It's like, what's she saying a comment like that for anyway? An untrue fact check. An untrue fact check.
There was a text in from Roy saying, I found myself wishing these two were presidential candidates.
Yeah. No, I think he was likable, Eddie. I think Walz did connect with people who would also be in over their head, and he held his own okay, and he was pretty nice too.
Yeah,
you got
it was. Yeah, it was cordial, right?
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah, and I think that was part of it. I think that was part of it in the sense that Vance needed to be not the guy that they had caricatured as saying things about cat lady, women with cats and no kids and all that stuff. And so they caricatured. And again, if you knew the guy, he's like the nicest guy. I mean, he's one of those guys that came up from nothing, but came from a really tough and has all that sort of, man, this is great to be an American kind of feel about him. And so he's very respectful and all. Look, guys, as you point out, I mean, the thing that I tell people all the time, contrast becomes the thing. It's sort of, you don't judge it, based on what the absolute best would be. You judge it by looking at the two. And in fact, when they do the split screen, I think I've told the story on the air, but I'll tell it again. Donald Trump was famous. Chuck Todd of NBC complained that Donald Trump would come on, meet the press, and when he was done in studio, he would go in the control room and ask to watch the tape with the sound off, because he knows something like 90% of the communication is not what you say, it's what you see and what people see. And so when you saw that split screen of Walz looking down, taking notes, looking up, looking stunned, actually nodding at certain points of J.D. Vance so the way you see that is one guy's in charge, one guy looks serious, one guy looks like the president, in this case VP, but the president, and that's Vance, and the other guy looks like, someone serving that guy, someone who is deferential to that guy, someone who is diminished next to that guy. So I think all those optics are extraordinary and all good. I do agree with you. Another thing I wish J.D. Vance had done, and there was an article written in Real Clear Politics by an author, anonymous author, so I don't know who it was, but he said J.D. Vance should attack the media. I remember Newt Gingrich almost became president by attacking the media, by saying, you guys are so fraudulent, and Donald Trump has too. And I felt like that, but Vance wasn't going to take that bait. He was doing something sort of bigger, like the kid next door, and he didn't want to get into the mud. So very disciplined, very impressive, and again, momentum, Trump-Vance, and Kamala and Walz are going to have to answer this question. Why the heck aren't you out doing, we know why you're not doing interviews, because you can't function in these environments, but shouldn't you do that and get better? Shouldn't you do that and make people feel better about it?
And they can't function because they can't really defend what's going on. Vance also pointed out you got a rough job, Tim.
Yeah,
you got to try to defend this, and I think the contrast, Eddie, was the cordiality. That was huge. It would forget what they were saying. They're actually being nice to you. Wow. Yeah. Wait a minute. Are we walking? Are these guys running for something? That just doesn't. And I think Vance rolled with the punches on it with, well, if he's going to be nice, I'm going to be nice. And then I really come ahead because Vance was the one that was supposed to be meaner than Trump.
Well, isn't it also true that the media, by telling everybody how awful J.D. Vance is, I mean, the people saw that and go, what are they talking about? This guy's a good guy. So that backfired on him. Some text at 217-359-2255 on the Fisher National Bank text line. I liked Walz calling himself a knucklehead, so now we have the Three Stooges. Mo, who's Biden, Larry Harris, Curly is Walz. And then the left is concerned when their biggest criticism of Vance was his tie. They thought it was wild.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. They got this alpha man up there. He's tall. He's got the beard. He looks like he, is gonna put on a cape, and they're complaining about his tie being too sensitive. You know, you've come far, and look again, just to say it because we're in the middle of it. The polling is adjusting. As I told you guys, they were lying about the polling. The pollsters were lying all summer long, and now it's adjusting to Trump up in almost every battleground state. And, of course, Trump's voters always poll low, and there's hidden Trump voters all the time. Every one of these polls, Hillary's up by 4 in Wisconsin. She loses by 1, right? Hillary's up by 3 in Pennsylvania. She loses by, 2. And the same thing happened to Biden. So, again, the momentum is all one way. I will say this. There's been no shortage and no stoppage and no slowdown in the amount of money Kamala Harris is raising. I mean, you talk about the money pouring in and the far left people, Steve Jobs' wife, who after he died, she inherited billions. She's spending lots of money. I mean, there is a money advantage on the Democrat side. I think they will start to deploy that, by the way, to try to save or steal the House, because the Senate is slipping away. I think presidency is slipping away. So, we'll see. We got, 30 plus more days, but certainly, again, heading in the right direction.
Well, the House is the hardest to steal, Eddie, because of the voting process that I've objected to exists mostly in the larger population centers, and the House is spread evenly across the country in 750,000 people units, and so I think we'll hang on to the House. My opinion is that might be the only thing we hang on to, because we haven't done enough to fix our processes. The good news, Stevie, is this process, it isn't this guy or that guy. It's the process that's weak. And there'll be people on the Republican side doing the same thing. And so we might have like 182% turnout. I mean, it's such a joke. We got to fix this. I hope we come out. I think if the Republicans are in, we'll tighten it up. I think if the Democrats, I think we'll never have another election worth anything.
Well,
you cannot have an endless mail-in ballots. Eddie, there's 378 counties with more registered voters than people who live there. I mean, that's sloppy. And there's a lot you can do with that, with mail-in ballots, where a person doesn't ever have. You end up with boxes to count. That's my objection.
Well,
and you can tell me how you get a good election.
Elon Musk has said this will be our last election if Harris wins. That's what Elon Musk has said. Okay, I got to pivot. I got to go to the Israel and Iran and Hezbollah, Hamas. Ed, what does all this mean?
Well, hey, it's terrifying. And, when you say, you go watch your movies and read your fiction, and you say, well, this couldn't really happen in real life. That say there's a war or a conflict that's staged in order to distract from an election. It feels like I don't feel confident. I don't trust my government. And so it's terrifying. I mean, the good news is in 1965, Phyllis Schlafly wrote a book called Strike from Space. Years later, Ronald Reagan said his whole sense of the Strategic Defense Initiative, so-called Star Wars, which is defending our nation with missiles, was inspired in large part by that movement that Phyllis founded. So, Israel has shown, and America's helped, that you have an iron dome over Israel, and they basically stopped the Iranians from being able to do lots of damage. But, right now, I think Israel's got a free shot at the Iranians. And, these are precarious things happening, and there's people dying all over the place. So, again, I thought J.D. Vance's point was the best. When Donald Trump was in, people knew not a good time to screw around. Not a good time to mess with people, okay? Let's all just stay cool. Right now, Joe Biden is at the beach, literally. He's at the beach house, and nobody quite knows what's happening next. So I think, I think we're you remember, it was in 2008, wasn't it, when the market crashed, and McCain and Obama, as candidates, went back to the White House at the end of the Bush term, and they talked about how to stabilize things. Right now, my fear is we're going to see Kamala Harris go back to the White House with Joe Biden to try to settle World War III. And between Russia and Ukraine and Israel and Iran, it's a good time to say your prayers, Johnny. So pray for peace, because there's not a lot of wisdom running around.
We need to do that. But I will say there's a silver lining on the voting, Eddie, because many people in Israel probably think that the election of Trump may be their survival could be dependent on it. So with our process, someone in Tel Aviv could be registering voters in Philadelphia and Detroit right now. Listen, seriously, you can get the right delivery boxes and you could use that Hezbollah pager supplier and just send the boxes of votes to Detroit. Hey, it could work both ways. It's wide open is what I'm saying. It's wide open. And it could be anybody.
The problem is, Johnny, if you go to Bible study, you usually aren't a good cheater. You know, you're not a good liar. It's not as easy to lie. We can't get out there.
Eddie, we're not talking about the candidates or the Republicans or the Democrats. Anybody can play. It's wide open. That's what I'm saying.
Before I let you go, longshoremen, the whole from New Orleans to Maine. I mean, we got docks and ships backing up. Ed, what's the impact of that?
Well, everything that shows a lack of leadership. Let me answer it politically. Everything that shows the lack of leadership, it takes the shine off of the guy in charge, and that's Biden and Kamala. So whether it's North Carolina being underwater and Joe Biden saying, "I've been on the phone for 2 hours working on this," right. People are like, "What?" Right? And so that's the political impact. Look, I think the longshoremen need to be careful. They have a strong union. They've done a good job over the last 30 years of strengthening their union, so much so that they have very good contracts, and their value is high in salaries. A lot of places use a lot more automation on their docks, and I think they need to settle this thing. I think that people need to get back to work, and they need to get paid whatever. But the fact that Joe Biden, by the way, has the authority under the current laws to go to court and say, "Give me an 80-day cooling off period so I can negotiate this." That's in the law, and he can tell the unions, "Go back to work. I got 80 days of cooling off," and he has said, "I will not do it." So when your supply chain is screwed up for Christmas, it's because all the tools that he could use, Joe Biden isn't bothering to use. And again, politically, that's going to accrue against Kamala. Nobody thinks Trump would let a supply chain hit happen to America 80 days before Christmas. Nobody thinks that would happen.
How about 80 hours after one of our biggest storms? That's a big problem because and that's what I think will really hurt the unions politically and may expedite some sort of settlement or even push Joe into the I think you're talking about the Taft-Hartley Act, which he can say, "Hey, you got to work right now. You can't stop." But no, it's all very interesting, Eddie. I think I'm really gonna turn it over. It's in God's hands, so that's why I've got to go back in here to find.
Yeah, we have got to get on our knees and pray that America survives all this. And I just returned from West Point with quite a tour with my son-in-law and his wife Gracie. And Janet and I were so impressed, and I had hope. I said, you know what? We've endured a lot in this country. We can endure this. But we need God. We need Him to be more prevalent in America and American lives. Johnny and Ed, I appreciate it. Ed, how can people find you?
Over on X, I'm active at Eagle Ed Martin. At Eagle Ed Martin, I post on X and repost, and I think people would be interested to follow a lot of what we're doing. And then PhyllisSchlafly.com is where all of Phyllis is writing every topic from the geopolitical to the domestic, and even what happens after a presidential election in terms of who's in charge, whether it's opposition or leadership in the presidency. There's a lot there. PhyllisSchlafly.com. So thanks, guys. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Johnny, go pray for us.
All right.
Thank
you.
you.
God bless you.
God bless you, Brother Johnny and Ed Martin, 753 ESPN 93.5 with the weather brought to you by Kramer Siding and Window.
Your premier provider for home improvement, specializing in siding, windows, doors, roofing, and outdoor living. Visit KramerSiding.com.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign-Urbana, and vicinity. A little hint of early autumn in the air this morning across the area. Temperatures ranging through the 40s. With these dry Canadian air masses and abundance of sunshine, temperatures will respond nicely this afternoon. Another warm-up in sight here over the second half of the week and into the weekend. Slight cooling early to mid next week. Still warmer to milder and drier days ahead as we head through at least the first half of this new month of October. Up to 71 for the day today. Mostly mostly sunny skies. Winds will shift around light west-southwest for the afternoon. Mostly clear tonight down to 46. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and 77. Light south-southwesterly wind. Fair tomorrow night, lows down to 48. Partly cloudy for the day on Friday with a high around 78. Winds will shift back to the northeast in the afternoon. Sunshine and warm for the weekend at 82 on Saturday, 79 on Sunday. Will cool to the upper 60s Monday and Tuesday, climbing back into the 70s the second half of next week. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm Rochas, Greg Solgay.
Airlig Plumbing Solution. For your kitchen and bath remodels, sump pumps, maintenance plans, and even licensed backflow testing, Airlig has you covered. Your local plumbing contractors for industrial, commercial, and residential jobs can provide plumbing services, repairs, and installs with a quick turnaround by calling or texting 217-722-9499. Send an email with your plumbing issue and contact information to info@airligplumbing.com.
Do you need some extra cash?
Be a special census field representative and make $18.83 an hour. You'll be working a small area on campus and have some flexibility with this job.
A special census is coming to campus residents around the University of Illinois. Field representatives are needed through November with Urbana's partial special census.
Visit urbanaillinois.us/census jobs.
Make $18.83 an hour. Visit usajobs.gov/jobs and look for the city of Urbana.
Hey, I got a text about that. People are stepping up for that side hustle to get
why
some
wouldn't you go
money for the holiday?
You go work for the census. It's a federal job, and then you can buy your 8-foot television at Steve Suderman's house.
Absolutely.
It's good vibes. It's Steve Suderman. It's Wednesday. He's the man. He has been on the job there for a number of weeks. So welcome to your...
Is that one of them Segus?
I'm trying to figure out how many weeks that would be. In fact, I'm going to do the math. How are you?
Well, I'm fine. I know there's 5 weeks to the election minus a couple of days. So
right.
I will be happy to see that behind us, frankly.
Oh, my goodness. You're not alone.
Can you imagine watching TV in Michigan where it's just the ads are nonstop and that's all it's on?
Right.
But my vote goes to Sony. So you can choose from an all-new lineup of OLEDs and mini LEDs. It's the #1 Blu-ray in the USA, but I just got something for myself, a new Sony ES receiver to replace my aging Pioneer Elite, and boy, did it make my system sound better. It made the TV picture better. The remote is simpler. I don't need glasses, or I don't have to turn the lights on to work the thing. I wish I'd done this sooner. It's got a feature that makes the voice track come right to the center of the TV. It lifts your center channel or drops it down if it's up there. It's got another one that electrically drops ceiling speakers to ear level. I don't know how it works. It's like pure magic, but it just did everything for it. It comes with a 5-year warranty, standard parts and labor. It's built like a brick silo, and even the tuner's better, so the FM radio's clearer. The amp is powerful, and it's got this 360 spatial feature that takes surround sound to a level you've never heard before. I mean, it's just everything is precisely placed where the engineers wanted it to be in the movie or the TV show. So I'm excited.
I'm stuck on you don't need glasses to run the thing. Come on.
Run the remote, right?
Wow. Had turned that down, okay?
Firstly, where is the remote?
It is powerful.
Yeah, that's really awesome. How fun is that? All right, so you also have your beautiful, bright mini LEDs. Is that what they're called?
OLED?
Oh, no, it's mini.
Mini LEDs are the new thing.
It's bright.
And micro LEDs are somewhere off on the horizon. And I don't know if you caught the news, but DirecTV and Dish are going to merge.
Is that final?
For years.
That's going to happen?
It'll really matter in 2025. So nothing's going to change for the people who have either service for the next year.
Okay.
But it's a done deal.
Okay.
So
I don't know.
It probably saves both of them.
I'm still direct, so now I'll be both. So will I have to do anything different?
You will not need to do anything different that I'm aware of at this point. I mean, they're way early. They just announced it Monday. But
except pay more, right?
I think actually pay less. It'll give them the opportunity to sell smaller bits of programming, which is what everybody wants is a more a la carte thing.
Yeah.
They have more viewers, so they have better buying power by combining the two.
Well, you got to go see
ultimately
some of these sets you guys have up on the wall. It's unbelievable. Again, the clarity, the brightness, you got to see it at Good Vibes next to the driver's license facility. Otherwise, how else would they get hold of you, sir?
They can call us at 3510909, and you mentioned our location, but of course we're virtual at gvibes.com.
Okay, and also music trivia, back probably even before you started your work there. By the way, 2,756 weeks is how long you've been with Good Vibes.
Okay, thank you for looking
Oh
that
my
up.
gosh.
That's a number of weeks.
My beard just grew longer.
Exactly.
Whoa, yes. Wait a minute, Mr. Postman. What song is that?
Well, there's one by the Beatles, but the original was maybe the Shirelles or something.
Marvelettes.
Yes, even before Steve started lifting boxes.
Wrong girl group.
That's right. There were plenty of them.
Hey, listen, good work over at Good Vibes. Go see him. He's local. Support local. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Stevie.
All right. Had a good talk with Kathy over at Apple Dumpling.
Oh, yeah.
Go there.
I have been inside the last 2 weeks.
Well, restaurants are struggling.
Yeah, I know.
So support particularly Apple Dumpling. Support them. I mean, they're local. The food is outstanding. $13 to get you a full meal. It's cheap. You probably could eat there cheaper than you can go to the grocery and make your own now.
Okay.
All right, back in a moment. It's 8 o'clock. You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
A showdown of the running mates. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
A nearly 80-year-old Donald Trump talking about crowd sizes is not what we need in this moment.
Tim Walz making the case against the former president.
Donald Trump was the guy who created the largest trade deficit in American history with China.
J.D. Vance countered in the CBS News vice presidential debate.
If Kamala Harris has such great plans for how to address middle-class problems, then she ought to do them now. Not when asking for a promotion, but in the job the American people gave her 3.5 years ago.
And he blames the vice president for record illegal immigration.
You've got to stop the bleeding. You've got to re-implement Donald Trump's border policies, build the wall, re-implement deportations.
The two also sparred over gun violence and threats to democracy, but agreed the U.S. must support Israel the day after Iran's missile barrage, and the fighting continues.
Israeli forces are confirming that at least one soldier was killed earlier today while fighting in southern Lebanon.
Fox's Trey Engst also reports from Haifa, Israel. Hezbollah keeps firing rockets across the border. Crews are still out searching for people still unaccounted for in all of Hurricane Helene's devastation. There are at least 161 deaths in 6 states, and Fox's Tanya J. Powers reports.
3 of those are Megan Dry's son, Micah, and her parents, Michael and Nora Dry. They had all climbed to the roof of their Asheville, North Carolina home for safety when Megan says powerful floods tore through it.
I thought we were okay still until the house broke apart and until everything started to collapse. Devastation. I was terrified, but in that moment, all I thought about was being a mom.
All 4 were swept downstream. Megan was eventually rescued, but Micah's body was found about a quarter mile away. Megan says her grief is, quote, unfathomable, but told Fox she's thankful for the prayers she has received.
President Biden will get an aerial tour of the damage in North Carolina today. Vice President Harris will see storm damage in Georgia days after former President Trump went there. America's listening to Fox News.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with DayQuil VapoCool. It's DayQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is DayQuil VapoCool.
DayQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Another big issue in last night's CBS vice presidential debate, abortion rights.
These are women's decisions to make about their healthcare decisions and the physicians who know best when they need to do this.
That's Harris running mate Tim Walz. Trump running mate J.D. Vance said,
I want us to support fertility treatments. I want us to make it easier for moms to afford to have babies.
And the former president was watching and posting.
The former president committed for the first time to blocking any federal legislation prohibiting abortion in a social media post Tuesday night. Former President Trump writes he does not support a federal abortion ban under any circumstances and would in fact veto it because it's up to the states to decide based on the will of their voters. He has praised the landmark ruling from the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade. 3 of the justices who joined that majority opinion were nominated by former President Trump. Polls have consistently shown a majority of voters prefer Vice President Harris on the issue of abortion access. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
We just got an update on the economy this morning.
Job growth by private employers came in stronger than expected in September, as measured by payroll processing company ADP. There were 143,000 new positions, topping forecasts of 128,000. ADP says September job creation showed a widespread rebound after a 5-month slowdown, and manufacturing jobs increased for the first time since April. Ginny Coselda, Fox News.
Friday, we will get the government's report on September hiring, and the new unemployment rate on Wall Street stock futures are mixed. The baseball playoffs resume today with another quadruple header. The teams that lost yesterday face elimination in these best-of-3 series. In the first games, San Diego shut out Atlanta. The New York Mets top Milwaukee in the National League. In the AL, Kansas City blanked Baltimore. Detroit beat Houston. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. The Hoopeston Area Rescue Team beginning a program that they hope will help more animals at their shelter find a forever home through the Legacy Foster Program. HEART will make it completely free for owners to adopt certain dogs at the shelter. 17 are eligible, and the shelter will waive adoption fees. Then they'll pay the animals' medical bills their entire life. Food and building service workers at the University of Illinois have reached a tentative deal with the university on a new contract. Robin Kaler, Associate Chancellor for Strategic Communications, says the university and SEIU Local 73 reached that deal late on Monday. A motorcycle driver from Teotopolis dead. It follows a crash in Effingham on Monday at Keller Drive and Midtown Boulevard. Police say a car failed to yield to the motorcycle driver and 2 cars that collided in the intersection. The motorcycle driver identified as 27-year-old Dale Davis. He was pronounced dead later at a hospital. You're locally up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Joe Miller.
Well, it's our meteorologist, Greg Solier. Time to get some good weather. You guys are still working on your calendar to come to a football game, right?
Yeah, if you can squeeze us in there. I mean, I'm sure that place is going to be.
When are you looking for? Did you have a particular game that you were?
Well, the one we would like to. Well, I mean, I have to check everybody's schedule.
That's going to take. That's why I told you.
October.
It's going to take
Michigan. I know Michigan is out because you can't. There's no place to stay. So
yeah, that's true.
Unless we
I
kind of crowd into your place or Diane's place. So.
My hoarder situation upstairs. I could try to move some boxes in my storage and free up the bed that's up there that's been available for years now that the girls.
No, that's way too kind. Just kidding, just yanking.
You might have to
touch, sir.
For Illinois, Michigan. You might have to stay in Kankakee. So
right,
yeah,
just drive on home after the game.
Is that going to be like? We don't know the time, but it's going to be. It's not 11 a.m. for that one, so it'll be 2:30 or 7 or 6.
I don't know. There was less than 1,000 tickets remaining.
Yeah,
might be one of those
week.
NBC games they pick up since they carry the Big Ten these days.
Still tickets?
They're not saying it's sold out just yet.
Michigan?
I know.
With the cool helmets?
And all the Memorial Stadium.
No, listen, I'm excited because Purdue, we've got to beat Purdue. They're not very good, but they have our number, so we got to deal with that. And then if you win that thing, there'll be a lot of hype, 2 ranked teams, all that stuff. And I think we can compete with Michigan, particularly on a Red Grange kind of anniversary.
Oh, of course,
we're a good team. So I forgot about the hotel situation.
Right,
totally.
The Dad's Day weekend is November 2nd against Minnesota.
Maybe Sam at the iHotel. No, that's got to be sold out 10 times.
Oh, yeah. We'll peruse the schedule and be in touch.
All right.
Instead of us having an on-air meeting
I think we should do all our on-air scheduling live. Exactly.
Hardness, ladies and gentlemen, as we borrow the radio station.
That's right. All right, meteorologist Greg Solier, brought to you by Kurt Lenschow, whose daughter just got married.
Nice.
Congratulations.
One of his daughters. Lovely, lovely pictures. The Lenschow family very excited. appreciated. And it's brought to you by Kurt at State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm and Kurt are there. 8:08, Mr. Weatherman, what you seeing?
Well, yeah, a little nip out there this morning. You might see your breath in some areas that are currently holding into the low 40s right now. We had a few upper 30s and holding 39 just outside of Peoria this morning, 38 earlier on over at Galesburg, and we're still holding at 43, Willard and Savoy, 45 Rantoul, and up at the Kankakee, 49 at St. Louis. They're in the 40s around the Brickyard and back to the west of us as well. A few upper 30s over the northwestern end of the state and into eastern Iowa. And, these cool spells offset by a number of mild days, warm days, and little, if any, organized moisture around here out 2, maybe 3 weeks from now. So remember, October is Farm Safety Month. Play it safe out there. Safety first. You'll have plenty of time for harvest this year. Heading towards an afternoon high today of 71 with sunshine, light winds, 46 tonight, 77 tomorrow, 78 on Friday. Heading towards the upper 70s and even low 80s for Saturday and Sunday. We'll get into some cooler, more seasonal weather early next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday highs close to at least the upper 60s to near 70 degrees. And then another big warm-up slated to begin the second half of next week. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgan.
All right, good to have you listening. Wednesday, middle of the week, and sunshine emitting across east central Illinois. We are live in the known center of the universe. It is Philo, Illinois. Temperature currently 48.
And a few texts coming in, actually, Stevie. 359-2255. By the way, the warrant thing that's coming up on Friday, and it was great to talk to Robert Mason, their lead singer, yesterday. That's a Back the Badge thing happening at City Center and Friday night. So why not get a date night going on and text in warrant 359-2255 and see if you're a winner of a pair of passes to get into that. But Rick had texted in both vice presidential candidates acted presidential.
Yeah.
For a debate to be effective, both parties have to act like adults. Then Rick has comments about the moderators and how you had mentioned we just can't have debaters who act like adults and not have them. The two moderators need to stay out of the debate.
It's like a referee.
Right.
You don't want to ever remember the referee. And I don't know how you can get to humans that, again, weirdly, because of the Biden situation, I think Biden was kind of set up. Put him out there way early so they can make a change, and they put him out there way early. And then I thought Dana Bash and Jake Tapper did the best job I've seen because they didn't have to defend Joe because they didn't want to defend Joe, if you know what I mean.
That's right.
That's what I believe.
Well, and then there's a comment about Joe. How was Biden in the Situation Room yesterday monitoring the Iran-Israel attack? And he was at his beach house. Yesterday, Fox News reported him and Kamala were monitoring together in said room.
I think he was at the beach house over the weekend during the hurricane. And if there's anybody with any sense in the White House, you'd say, Mr. President, this doesn't look very good. Let's go back to the White House so it doesn't look like you're, Rome is burning, Nero is fiddling, whatever thing.
Right.
You've got to look engaged. And so I don't think there's much emphasis right now on Joe Biden because I don't think he's doing anything. I don't think he's ever done anything. I think it's been the committee, whoever's running stuff, telling the president what he has that day. But no, it's the fact that Joe Biden said he's not talked to Benjamin Netanyahu. That's our number one ally. There's stuff happening every minute, and you haven't talked to him? Well, our people are talking. No, you need to grab the phone and say, what's happening?
Well, and last time he was in America, wasn't Kamala campaigning?
Well, she didn't go because she didn't want to go because it's part of the... Well, how's the pro-Palestinians going to look at her? If she's,
I know.
So, yeah.
Did she take
she's
a
a vice president.
Party
Your vice president's got to welcome them in. I mean, it's your duty. You're speaking to joint session of Congress. The vice president's one sitting behind the speaker. You've got to be there for that. Unbelievable. Okay, 8:13. I've got a clip I'm going to play. I guess I'll do it at the bottom of the hour. It's about 3 minutes about Pete Rose, kind of a compilation. Because Pete Rose was a controversial human from the standpoint of rough. There's no doubt about it. I don't know all the details, but there's certainly not angels all in the Hall of Fame. And certainly you want his shoes and jerseys and all the things you put, and the balls and the different milestones. He's the leading hit hit maker in baseball. He passed Ty Cobb in a huge thing back in the whatever that was, 80s. But I'm just saying, if you're going to put his jerseys and you want all the uniform that he had when he broke all these records and you don't put him in the Hall of Fame, then you got to take the jerseys out. If you're going to wipe him out of the Hall of Fame, you need to wipe all the stuff out of the Hall of Fame. And I understand gambling, really bad, character, probably not so good. From the standpoint of baseball, and one of the best. Top 10, for sure.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. I think you either got to remove the stuff you've asked for to put in the Hall of Fame or remove everything. If you're going to ban him from the Hall of Fame, then you should ban him and erase the stuff he did. And then even though he's a lead, nobody will ever get that many hits again in baseball because they won't play that long. You got to get the Hank Aaron kind of number, the Barry Bonds with steroids, to get to Hank Aaron's number, he had to play like 23 years. Mm-hmm. Pete Rose played 24 years in the big leagues.
Wow.
24 years. Getting to 3,000 hits is unbelievable, and nobody can do it. Oh, you can. There's a handful of people that got 3,000 hits, but 4,192? So nobody ever played that long because Pete wasn't making that kind of money. He actually had to go to work. Now it's like, okay, I've got, this $48 million a year, whatever the numbers, you don't have to push that hard anymore. Mm-hmm. I got plenty of money, my shoulder's hurting, I'm not playing anymore, and you're fine.
I don't know. I think we should hit that sound clip now that we're talking about Pete Rose. We don't have a whole lot since we are not really interested in the MLB, wild card action because there's no local teams in it per se.
All right, so there's sports. Here we go, 8:15. This is a pretty good compilation of Pete Rose and his career.
You will not make me cry today. Everybody on their feet here in Cincinnati and a worldwide television audience watching these moments tonight. All the guys born here in Cincinnati all played the same way. Bust your ass and win the game.
When I first got here, it was like playing with a rock star.
And a complete dedication to the game, summed up, as he put it, this way: I would walk through hell in a gasoline suit to play baseball.
Rose is coming to the plate, throws the throw. He's in. A fight breaks out. A fight breaks out. Pete Rose and Buddy Harrelson.
Every night I went out there, you motivated me to play hard.
One of the traits of a great player is he makes the players around him better. Pete Rose made us all better. He inspired us to be the best that we could be each and every day.
He was the epitome of hustle, of energy and desire. If he had 3 hits, he wanted to get 4. If he had 4, he wanted to get 5. I've never seen anybody ever like that.
So they've done it again. They're on their way to the World Series, which will start here on Saturday. There they are, led by Pete Rose. The Yankees are down to their last out. Makes the catch. That's it. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep. And the Cincinnati Reds win their 4th World Championship.
You repeated. You proved you can play with anybody and maybe any team in the history of baseball. It's a great ball club, a great bunch of guys.
This is the best club in 14 years I've been associated with. It was strictly a team effort, and we're very happy.
He swings and grounds one to the right side. He bangs the single in the right field to keep the hitting streak alive at 44 in a row. Line drive upfield. He's done it. Pete Rose, 3,000 hits. First time out back in the red uniform. President for an RBI. Hustle is back.
I feel like when I move on up in the list. One more hit and I move a notch up. 8 more hits, I move a notch up. But there's a lot of great players up there.
Line drive, base hit. 2 for 4, 3 away.
There's a hit! He's only 2 away!
Line drive, 1 or maybe 2 more shots at breaking it.
Now kicks and he fires. Rose swings.
There it is! There it is! Get out! Get out! All right!
Hit number 4192. A line drive single into left center field. A clean base hit. And it is pandemonium here at Riverfront Stadium.
I wasn't diving for me. I was diving for you. I was hitting for you. I was trying to score runs for you. Baseball, capital of the world, is the Queen City.
Pete Rose, 83 years old, passed away a couple of days ago. There's no question he's a top 10 all-time baseball player, I believe. I mean, there's some great baseball players, but Pete has got to be right there with the number of hits he had. Character issues, I would say yes. He probably did have some of those, but as far as pure baseball, no question about it, one of the all-time.
Has all the statistics, and now they're saying natural causes to his death earlier this week at the age of 83.
Well, Cincinnati had quite the team back in the 70s. They won 2, and then a World Series in the late 80s as well.
Well, and he played for the Phillies in Expos also.
Yep, I actually saw him play once, and I can't remember why. I don't know where it was, but I remember seeing Pete play.
Nice.
We're going to check our weather. Meteorologist Greg Solye, brought to you by Busey for over 155 years. Member FDIC.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign, and vicinity. A little hint of early autumn in the air this morning across the area. Temperatures ranging through the 40s. With these dry Canadian air masses and abundance of sunshine, temperatures will respond nicely this afternoon. Another warm-up in sight here over the second half of the week and into the weekend. Slight cooling early to mid next week. Still warmer to milder and drier days ahead as we head through at least the first half of this new month of October. Up to 71 for the day-to-day. Mostly sunny skies. Winds will shift around light west-southwest for the afternoon. Mostly clear tonight down to 46. Tomorrow mostly sunny and 77. Light south-southwesterly wind. Fair tomorrow night, lows down to 48. Partly cloudy for the day on Friday with a high around 78. Winds will shift back to the northeast in the afternoon. Sunshine and warm for the weekend at 82 on Saturday. 79 on Sunday. Will cool to the upper 60s Monday and Tuesday. Climbing back into the 70s the second half of next week. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solye.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Job growth by private employers came in stronger than expected in September, as measured by payroll processing company ADP. There were 143,000 new positions, topping forecasts of 128,000. And August total jobs created revised higher from 99,000 to 103,000. ADP says September job creation showed a widespread rebound after a 5-month slowdown. Nike shares are down nearly 8%. Its sales slumped in the recent quarter, and Nike is postponing its annual investor day to allow its new CEO to take over, though earnings did come in better than expected. And Harley-Davidson shares are down nearly 4%. Analysts at Baird are lowering expectations for the stock, saying sales are slowing. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosola. Invested in you.
From the Fox News Podcast Network.
I'm Emily Campagno, and this is the Fox True Crime Podcast.
And I had nothing to do with her disappearance, but people still accuse me of it.
I sit down with the people who lived the nightmares.
I was in shock. I was just devastated.
The investigators who tirelessly worked on the case.
I feel for their families, and I really hope that they can catch this guy.
Bringing you closer to the story than you ever thought possible.
Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Our showroom renovation is complete. At the new Flooring Surfaces, you'll enjoy a modern shopping experience in a showroom filled with the latest innovations in floor covering, plus custom blinds, shades, and shutters in an expanded window treatment area. Flooring Surfaces can help you with free design assistance, expert advice, and professional installation, all in a brand new space you have to see to believe. Visit Flooring Surfaces today at 401 Mercury Drive in Champaign.
Flooring Surfaces, your first stop.
Tim Onstadt, Gale Ferrex Trucking, Dedicated Diesel. How is everything at Dedicated Diesel and Dixie Chopper?
Well, Dedicated Diesel is going great guns. A couple weeks ago, Donna put in an order for some new machines. We got some great fall deals. We've sold most of the inventory, so we got in a new shipment. We've got new Classics, Blackhawks, Excaliburs, Eagles, Z2, and the new Falcon. That is a nice mower.
So when people try it and get on it, I bet the higher percentage buys them, probably feeling the handling and everything?
Yeah, it's hard to go back to something else once you've driven a Dixie Chopper. And that Falcon seat is the most comfortable mower seat I've ever been on. It is incredible. The Falcon, we've got a great deal on that for $7,000. The introductory price is $9,000 on it, and we're going to get rid of them as fast as we can. Well, that's a 60-inch deck on that Falcon, so you can do residential, commercial, cut a lot of lawn with that.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
When it comes to finding a reliable vehicle, look no further than Sarah Champagne, your trusted automotive destination. They carry a lineup of top brands, including Honda, BMW, Subaru, GMC, and Buick. And they're not just about cars, they're about people. Their team is dedicated to providing you with trustworthy service and dependable vehicles that fit your lifestyle. Experience the difference at Sarah Champagne. Visit Sarah, S-E-R-R-A, champagne.com. All right, ESPN 93.5, 825. Brandy Pierce is here, Pregnancy Resource Center. How are you?
I'm so good. How are you guys today?
Well, it's so good to see you in downtown Philo, Illinois. Thank you for driving.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
You have some big things happening, don't you?
We do. We always have big things
happening. I know you do.
Absolutely.
Tell me what the Pregnancy Resource Center is and who you have coming in for your big banquet.
Yeah, so glad that I get to share with you today. So we are an organization in town that is here to help men and women that are facing pregnancy decisions. We are staffed with nurses to do free services. So I want to reiterate that all of our services are free. We don't want to benefit from anybody that's in that decision-making process. So we are just there to meet them and educate and support along the way. So we also do parenting classes. And once a month, we do free diapers, wipes, and gently used clothes to everybody in our community. So big work that we get to be a part of every day. We also have a residential facility called Mercy's Refuge for women that are just in a place of life where they want to maybe heal from something that's going on. They can live there for 4 to 6 months in that program, and again, everything's free.
I mean, obviously the trees don't produce money, so you need to raise money. And why are you, Brandy Pierce, why are you doing this?
Oh my goodness, Stevie, what a big question. I feel like I need more time to tell you why I do this, but the simple answer is I've just been called to this. I know what it feels like to go through pain and heartache in life, to be in really tough situations, and how wonderful it is when we get to operate from a place of the tough decisions and situations we've had in our life to impact other lives.
Well, speaking of that, I know Rebecca Hagan is coming up at the iHotel and Conference Center, and that banquet is Tuesday, October 15th.
Yes. So talking about our free services, we only are able to do that because of generous folks in our community. One of our biggest events is our fundraising banquet on October 15th. Our guest speaker is going to be Rebecca Hagan, and she is just this powerful speaker that has been involved in so many different ways of sharing her stories across the nation. When Rebecca was a teenager in college, she unexpectedly got pregnant, started with the abortion pill, and realized that she was having some regrets about that. So she tells her story about what it's like to be a young person in that midst of making a decision.
Yeah, it's a moving, wonderful banquet. Do you have room for everybody?
We do, yes. So we will be in 2 banquet rooms again this year. I know that you guys were there last year, and Diane, you'll